Today I'm going to do classic Victoria sponge. For the ingredients you'll need 225 grams of butter at room temperature, 225 grams of caster sugar, 225 grams of self-raising plain flour with 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 4 eggs. So if you don't have butter, margarine is fine, and actually margarine makes a lovely cake texture, really good. And if you can use like golden caster sugar as well, that's lovely. Sometimes to flavour it as well, vanilla pods, orange zest, lemon zest, but today we're going to stick with the classic and do it really plain. So I'm actually going to use an electric hand whisk. These are really great, they can be really powerful and they're much cheaper than having a big machine. So I'm going to start by creaming my butter, add my sugar, so like the other cakes, the butter was sitting out at room temperature. You can see my butter is beginning to cream nicely and mix with the sugar. So you can see after you've been creaming it for a while, it's really light and fluffy. It's changed colour, it's whiter. And now we're going to add the eggs. Slowly, one at a time, so that your batter stays emulsified. Right, so you can see I've added 3 of the eggs and it's still really glossy and emulsified because I've mixed it really well. Don't forget, like I said last time, scraping down the sides is so important so you don't get any lumps of butter. And now I'm going to add the last egg and mix it well. Whoops, might get a little bit of splatter. So I've added my last egg and the mixture is still emulsified. Now I'm going to add my sifted self-raising flour and baking powder. And I'm going to start just by folding, because if I was to put the machine into this now, it would fly everywhere. So I'm going to fold by hand first. And these little electric hand whisks are great because they're really powerful, and when you're learning to bake, you learn like the feel of the resistance of the batter as you mix it. So it's a great way when you're learning to really observe the changing textures and to watch the emulsification of the eggs and the butter. So I really recommend a little handheld electric hand whisk if you're learning to bake. It's a great way to start. So just to check it's all mixed, I'm gonna on low quickly. Sure that's fine. And the reason why you don't want to overbeat it with the beaters when you've added your flour is because then you'll get a really tart texture. So I'll give these to the cameraman to lick. There you go, Craig. No doubt he'll retrieve the other one out of the sink. These are my tins. They're 20 centimetres, and my mum actually has these really great pre-cut discs which you can just wash and reuse, so they're all ready to put in the bottom. Always line your cake tin, even if they're non-stick, just makes life so much easier. I'm going to pop the batter evenly divided between the 2 cake tins. My oven is set at 160 full fan, so you just need to spread it out a little bit with the spatula. Don't worry about being too finicky because it will naturally just melt and spread out when you put it in the oven, but you do need to cover the base. So here are my cakes. Lines ready to go, and I'll put them in the centre oven until they're cooked. Right, so the cakes have had half an hour at 160. I rotated them about halfway through so they get a nice even bake, and I think now they should be ready. You know they're ready because it's got a nice spring when you touch it gently with your finger, and starting to come away from the sides of the tin. So I'm just going to wait for those to cool, maybe for about 15 minutes, and then I'll flip them out of there. So the cake rested in the tins for about 15 minutes, and then I turned them out onto the cooling rack. And now I'm going to decorate them. It's really, really cool now. There's no warmth in the cake, so patience. So I'm going to take the bottom half first. And I have whipped here some double cream, and I actually was slightly short, so I put a tablespoon of yogurt in there for extra flavour. So I've whipped my double cream and yogurt, and here I've got some raspberry jam. So just going to put the raspberry jam onto the base of the sponge and just spread it generously, like so. Then I'm going to take my cream and just, my yogurt cream. I quite like the yogurt because it adds a nice sour kind of tartness, which is quite nice because the strawberries and the jam and the cake make everything quite sweet. So it's the same when I make pavlova. I like to put yogurt in the cream because it's all a bit sharper. And there we go. And then you can take your, let's get every last bit there. Then you can take your lid. You may like to flip it if you find the grid marks on your cooling tray more attractive. I quite like the flat surface. Pop that on top, the gentle squeeze. And there you have your cake, ready to serve. I'm just going to finish mine with a sprinkling of caster sugar. Quite a nice touch. And a few strawberries. There you go. Classic Victoria sponge. Hope you get on all right with yours. See you next time.